What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. Niantic has absolutely started off the year strong. We now have our third event underway, and we are not even through January of 2019. The first event, of course, was the Hatchathon, and then now we actually have two events that will go on simultaneously. The first one being just the Hoenn event, which we will be talking about today, as well as the Feebas event that will be taking place during this actual event. If you are not sure exactly what that is, we will have the ability to get ourselves a Feebas, but it will only be on a specific time available, much like a community day. So during a 3-hour window, we will have different research tasks that we will be able to do to get ourselves a chance at a shiny Feebas, and then of course evolve it into Milotic. You would have to do that by just walking it as your buddy for 20 kilometers. But with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Hoenn event. In order to cover this event, we definitely need to head over to PokemonGoLive.com. First things first being that the event will go from January 15th until January 29th, so a 2-week duration. Then we can go ahead and actually jump into the actual featured list, which I do think is fairly interesting, and the way it's put makes it very easy to follow. First things first, Pokemon from the Hoenn region, which is Generation 3, will appear more frequently in the wild. Up next, we do have an adaptation of the field researches catering to that Hoenn region as well. And then up next is the raid battles, which will include Pokemon originally discovered once again from this Hoenn region, such as the legendary Pokemon Kyogre and Groudon. So for those of you who have not been following Pokemon Go for a long period of time, Kyogre already has its shiny variant available, yet its counterparts like Rayquaza and Groudon have not had their shiny variants added in. Yet in this case, we see that only Groudon was specifically mentioned, yet Rayquaza is left completely out of the equation. But if you are curious whether or not we will get to see a new shiny variant of Groudon being added in, on the Nintendo website, they gave the hint to show that it will have its chance to shine. So I would take that as further validation that we will be able to see the shiny variant of Groudon added into the game, which I know a ton of people are definitely excited about. So moving on from that, we are going to see yet again another event associated to the hatching of the 7-kilometer eggs. So we are going to move away from the baby Pokemon from the Hatchathon and head over to the Hoenn Pokemon. I'm personally not quite as excited about that. Up next is evolving Shroomish into Breloom to get yourself an exclusive move of Grass Knot. This is actually pretty cool because one, Breloom is a very good Pokemon. It's a decent budget Pokemon for sure, but just having the ability to get itself an exclusive move on a non-community day is definitely cool, and we definitely would love to see that in Pokemon Go because that just means that more Pokemon have a chance to be featured. If you are curious about how good Breloom is going to be in the game, go ahead and check out these stats. Of course, it is a fairly good Pokemon, kind of acts a little bit like a Glass Cannon, but once the rework occurred, it ended up getting a major buff in some sense. And then in regards to the ideal moveset, you definitely want to have that Grass Knot added on, but the fact that it already has Counter and Dynamic Punch definitely solidifies it as an excellent attacker, and it should be good in PvP. Of course, we have a couple of more features to talk about, one of them being that we are going to include 2 new shiny families in regards to Zigzagoon as well as Tailo. And then finally, we can finish off with the Team Magma and Team Aqua inspired avatar items if you are interested in the type of shop atmosphere. So yeah, what a cool event. We actually have seen, in my opinion, one of the most well-rounded events that Pokemon Go has done really in the past. We're covering eggs, we're talking about research, we've got new raid Pokemon, we've got completely different shinies. Of course, we have all of the stuff going on in the shop, and then we even have an exclusive move associated to a completely different Pokemon. And I'm saying that this sounds like a very good event. If Pokemon Go can continue this type of thing moving forward, they are definitely going to succeed, and I know that us as the community are definitely going to be happy with that. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy this episode. Let's go ahead and end on a question of the day. What are you most excited about in this event? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section below, and I will see you next time. I wanted to extend a huge thank you to the supporters over at Patreon. You definitely make this possible, and I 100% appreciate this support. If you are interested in supporting my channel on Patreon, definitely feel free to check out the link in the description.